Hi, this is Victoria Casey again, and today I was writing about should you invest in home improvements? And if you do, are you first of all, if you're doing a home improvement for yourself, for your own benefit, because you want to live in a home, great. But if should you do it for the idea of selling your home and that you're going to get a lot of money out of it? Not necessarily. And you know, every day you see these do-it-yourself shows, and they have to come up with some really creative, fun stuff and get you really interested, but are those things really practical, and is that the best way to add value to your home? And I'm here with Sean Trainer, and he's from Creekview Realty, and he's a licensed realtor in Texas. And as a matter of fact, the company goes nationwide. And thanks, Sean. Come on.
Hey, hi, welcome back, welcome back.
Thank
I
you.
think this is a great topic. We have to constantly deal with this.
Mhm.
A seller wants to sell the house and they want to spice it up and make it look really pretty and really nice. My biggest word of advice is keep the cost low. If you have some crazy colors in the walls, of course, go in there and paint the walls, a neutral color. If you have a kid's game room or something, I'm not necessarily saying to wipe out the game room, because there might be someone that likes the game room, but definitely let them know that you're willing to paint the house before they move in. That can be communicated through the description. But do not waste money trying to do stuff and buy stuff. I have people that tell me, oh, I want to get new cabinets and redo the kitchen so it's prettier, and we're gonna go get the Viking, refrigerator and stove and blah 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 blah. But the reality of it is, oh hey, welcome to the camera. But the reality of it is, you're never gonna get the return off something like that. You're lucky if you get a 30% return, and you're probably reasonably going to get about a 15% return. So what does that mean, people that don't do math? You spend $10,000 on a kitchen, you're going to be getting about $1,500 worth of value put back into the house. So in other words, you're literally flushing money down the drain.
Right, and that's not even, like I said in the article, paying for your figuring the cost of your hernia repair. The truth is that, as I mentioned in the article, the average time, just putting granite counters in, the average cost is somewhere between $600 at the very, very low end to $2,000 or $3,000 at the middle range, up to the high end, maybe as high as $4,000, and you're probably going to get about $1,200 for that. So really, is it worth it?
No, it's not. Not to mention the fact that, sometimes you're going to be making decisions for the buyers. Like, let's say you notice that all the doorknobs in the house are a little bit hammered, and you're a little bit worried that someone can't open a doorknob. Well, fix that stuff. But some people want to go in there and buy all new brass and stuff for the doorknobs. But I'm a silver guy. I like silver knobs. I don't like brass. So let's just say you go through and you spend 20, 30, 50 bucks a doorknob, and you got all this pretty brass all set up in there. Who's to say I even care about that? Matter of fact, that's going to be a discouragement to me, because I'm like, gosh, I wish it was silver. I had somebody in a negotiation about a month or so ago, and they were talking about the buyer wanted to have the fence painted. And I just told him, I was like, listen, let's just get that as an amount of money instead of the actual task. And the buyer was adamant about us, or the sellers, painting the fence before they moved in. And so they proposed this amendment. They sent it over, and it encouraged us to sign it. And the funniest part about it, they didn't mention what color.
Look.
I mean, think about that. I mean, we could have literally painted it polka dot purple, and they could not say a thing about it because they never said the color. So again, don't do any of those things. Don't re-roof the roof, okay? If the roof needs to be repaired, okay, number one, check with your insurance company. It might be covered under some deductible and some kind of insurance policy if it's hail related. But let's just say that the roof needs to be repaired. If you have a cash buyer that's planning on knocking your house down, why does he care what your house roof looks like?
Right.
So before you waste money on this, just understand, hey, my roof's going to need to be replaced. I'm going to have to probably knock $15,000 off the price of this house at some point. But don't spend the money on the house. Just wait and let's see what the issues are. Don't keep it a secret. I mean, obviously, if they're like, how's the roof? Don't go like, oh, it's amazing. Never had a problem. Meanwhile, there's 30 buckets around your house.
Right. That's the thing. You've got to disclose what you have to disclose. Right. But that aside, as I pointed out in the article, A lot of people in the last few years have spent thousands of dollars on granite counters. Well, guess what? Now they're going to engineered quartz.
Right.
Okay, that's the point.
Thing or something
Yeah, yeah, because it'll have some problem. And just because something is trending right now does not mean that in 5 years it's going to be trending. In 2 months it's going to be trending. And yeah, these producers of these do-it-yourself home shows have to come up with something really cool every week. They have to make these wow, eye-popping, really cool designs to get viewers. That doesn't mean that you need to turn your child room into a castle.
No.
And wonderful. If you want to dig a moat in their room, do it. You're the coolest parent ever. But when you go to sell it, you've got to understand they may be moving their grandmother into that room. It has to be.
And you got to get rid of the alligators and the crocodiles from your moat.
Right.
No, you're exactly.
If you've got flying unicorn murals on your wall, wonderful for your kid. But when you go to sell that, that may not be what sells to a buyer. And a lot of home improvement
unless it's in uptown, unless it's in that kind of neighborhood where everybody kind of likes unicorns.
Right, where flying unicorns are the big day. Not everybody has the same taste. Not only that, again, what's trending 1 minute will not be trending the next. It does not necessarily increase the sale value of your home. When you get down to it, are you really smashing your piggy bank open to get just pennies on the dollar? Not necessarily a good trade. Mm-hmm. Number two, it can be a turn off. Number three, it can be a turn off. It'd be something that I'm going, I'm going to spend so much time undoing what you've done. What you've really done is made something so specific that only you want it. Basically, think of it as
it's like those carpet, the long haired carpet from back in the shag carpet. I mean, that was big. That was a huge thing back in the day. You know,
if you're going to buy a hamburger and you're going to want to resell it, or a hot dog, do you put sauerkraut on it, sardines on it, peanut butter on it? Make it so specific that just for this one individual who's got these crazy tastes. And then
have you ever eaten a peanut butter hot dog?
Yeah, well, I was just saying, hey, there was a time when I was pregnant, and yes.
That is disgusting. If anybody ever offers me a peanut butter hot dog, I'm not buying a house with them, just for the record.
And the point is, though, that you can get so specific on a house design that no one else on the entire planet will want it. Right. And as a matter of fact, it's such a turn off because they've got to undo what you did.
Right.
Meanwhile, you're thinking, hey, look, I've got the really cool appliances. Well, good. You probably just, unless you need them for your life.
Right. Oh, you're exactly right.
In some sense.
When my brother bought his house, they had they put carpet over his over their wood floors. You know, they felt like the wood floors were not as nice, I guess. And so when he bought the house, he actually had to rip up the brand new carpet they just laid down, and then he had to refinish the floors to bring back the wood floors that they had, you know, thrown all that carpet and stapled all that stuff to it. So, yeah, you're exactly right. Once again, you don't know what the buyers want, so quit guessing. There's no reason to guess. Put your house on the market and listen. If they come to you and they say, hey, listen, I really want, your carpets are terrible, you know, of course you want to steam clean it if it's terrible, but if they come in and they say, want no carpets, well, rather than buying carpets, give them an allowance. Say, okay, you know, no problem. I'll give you a $1,500 allowance, you know, or a $5,000 allowance or whatever. And then you don't deal with it. They choose the color. They choose the tiles. They choose the wood. They choose the brass. They choose the fence color. Let them choose. Yeah. You just put it on the market as is. Make sure it's, once again, clean. They don't want boxes everywhere with mess and cobwebs.
Right, as clean and generic as possible. If your son is a goth fan, great, but maybe the black room might be a little bit turn-offy to other buyers. So slap a paint of beige on there for all means. The point being, don't flush money down the drain. And if you're going to, then please just feel free to send it in to me. I will always take donations. Feel free to.
Always accepting stupid donations.
If you want to make stupid donations, you can have my email address and start just PayPaling me money. Because if you're if you're the kind of person that's gonna invest $10,000 so you can get 2 back, maybe you should have paid a little bit more attention in math class. Right. Really.
Right.
And just if you make an improvement to your home, make sure that it fits your needs. It's something that you desire. And even so, I always say, don't spend money you don't have to. It's just,
right. Right. It's one thing if you're moving into a house and you think, oh, you know what, I want to repave the driveway with stones, and Okay, that's great because you're going to use it, and that's the whole point. Is it's for you and your use. So when you lose 80% of it, just understand that was because you wanted it that way. If you go try to build a swimming pool and you spend $30,000 on a new swimming pool and you get new financing and blah 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 blah. Just know it was so you can swim and you can enjoy the stonework out there. It is not for the next person. You're never going to get the return out of it. And matter of fact, when you sell your house, you're probably still finishing up those payments for the swimming pool you bought for the previous house. So,
and if the person has toddlers, they may not want a swimming pool in the backyard. That may be again, homes, in one sense, homes are not necessarily the greatest investment. People think that's conventional wisdom says they are, but you're talking about a place that's you don't necessarily get out what you put in it, and you can't pick it up and move it. So you've tied the fate of your home to a neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's actually got some limiting factors.
Yeah.
The point is to make yourself comfortable, and then when you're selling that home, you and I talk about saving as much money as you can. So here's a way to increase the value of your home about 5% almost instantaneously, and that is to not use a realtor. Or if you use a realtor, use a flat fee realtor where you're paying $200, $400, $500. Even if you pay $1,000 to, and most services don't cost that much, but say you did, say you pay $1,000, you're still saving a massive amount of money because you and I use this figure all the time. A $300,000 home costs $18,000 to sell if you use a traditional realtor, minimum, or generally average, because some realtors actually charge more than 6%.
Yeah, I don't understand. I just had someone call me, I think it was like 2 days ago, and they were telling me how their local realtor was going to charge them 8% to sell. And I can't justify 6%. More or less, how are they justifying another 2 additional on it? I was baffled. I actually took down the information and tried calling that realtor to just find out what secret sauce are they trying to put in this Kool-Aid.
What kind of sparkly special stuff do? I mean, that's serious. If you're going to take 8% of the value of my home, you need to be doing some serious stuff. I mean, you need to be skywriting it with flying unicorns across the sky. It needs to be imprinted on the face of the moon. Victoria Casey is selling her home.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not worth it. That's not. What is that going to be? Depending on the math here. So if you have a $300,000 home at 8%, oh my gosh, what is that? $23,000, a couple $22,000.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who's better at math do the numbers for me. But you get the point. Is that even at $300,000 and an $18,000 home, what's $18,000 worth of work? How long do you work? Okay, average viewer. If your income is $18,000, $20,000, $25,000, even $50,000 a year, $18,000. How many hours do you work to earn $18,000?
How many times have you had to hop on the phone and apologize to a customer? How many times have you had to listen to your boss yell at you? How many times have you had to avoid your kid's graduation and this little thing and this, all because you're trying to work and make that $18,000, and then you just flush it down the drain when you're ready to move to a new place? No, and it just gets worse as the house gets more expensive. The more money you make, $400,000. Guess what? You owe more. And then you go and you buy a $500,000. Guess what? It's not like the 6% caps out at $18,000.
No, it doesn't.
Increases dramatically every single step until it's literally I saw one of the buyer agents bought one of our properties as a $1.2 million property. They had a different commission rate and they were a little better at the negotiation as far as the amount. However, that dude still walked with like $45,000.
And exactly what do you do to earn $45,000? I mean, I don't get paid that kind of money for my job, and I can't imagine the amount of
transaction. One contract, a 9-page contract. You negotiated, you wrote, you had fun, you went back and forth, and you get paid $45,000. Doesn't mean that people don't deserve to be paid for what they work. Okay, if someone's willing to pay you $45,000 to do it, kumbaya, take the money. However, the people that are watching this are people that are looking to save money and be smart. It's a no-brainer to go in this way. It's a no-brainer to use us for the rebate. It's a no-brainer to avoid commissions. If you only I can understand like Matthew McConaughey selling his house and needing to use a traditional 6% agent because he's not going to be picking up the phone and answering questions. I can just hear him with that reliant voice. But
But if
I
you
just
think about this, if a surgeon goes into a surgery and you're talking about his kind of pay, one single surgery, he's not likely to get anywhere from $18,000 for that one procedure.
and your life's on the line. No, no. I mean, think about NASA. I mean, these people are like the smartest people on the planet Earth, and like the amount of money that an agent gets paid per hour regarding a contract is more money than probably NASA spends to land on the moon per hour. Okay.
Yeah, and
I don't know the math behind that one, so don't factually. But I'm just saying that you could do a lot of things with that money, and
yeah, it
being
isn't
a realtor is
rocket.
worth this.
It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. And if it is, hey, pay that kind of money.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. There are some times when you do need to deal with a licensed realtor, and you and I have talked about this before, both off camera and on camera, and that is there are things that licensed realtors really do have a point when they say that they're worth some money. And here's the difference. Go with a flat fee listing company where you can get a la carte services. Get your contract negotiations and other things that and help pricing the home. Those are two things that I say, yes, go get some expert advice and get the help you need because that can come back and bite you in the hiney. But the rest of the stuff, the agent's going to come take a couple of pictures of your home, drive a couple buyers by. That stuff is not worth, the MLS listing itself is not worth $18,000.
No, it's not. And I work in the MLSs, and I put these listings together, and I do contracts. So it's not like I'm just imagining the workload behind it. I'm telling you, I see it firsthand, the workload. There is work involved. I'm not saying that these people aren't work and they're not worth money, but the real question becomes the amount of money they make per hour for what they do. In my opinion, they're overpaid, dramatically overpaid, and so that's why we don't charge as much. We're the undercutters. We're the discounted brokers. That's why they call us that. I mean, you can try to, a lot of people say, why do you guys charge so little? Why do they charge so much? And when the turn of the industry happens and people start knowing more about this, I'm going to be really encouraged to listen to the sales pitches these realtors are going to have to pitch to justify the $18,000. In some ways, I can't even justify the $1,000 we charge for the full rep, just because I feel yeah, sometimes they're easy customers, and sometimes the house is going to sell itself, and the negotiation they had to bid $50,000 over list price. What am I? I have a hard time justifying it. I have to work harder on those just to make sure that they know I'm doing my $1,000 worth of work. And I don't know. I go to bed feeling really good because I save people money. I don't know. I guess you could buy a pretty nice bed with $18,000, but still, I don't understand how they can sleep at night sometimes.
Yeah, it's basically using your powers for good rather than evil.
Here's my cape. I can get an $18,000 cape. I just need to sell one house so I can get a cape and a Batmobile.
Here's the other thing. I know what a lot of brokers, a real estate agent is going to see this and go bat something crazy because they're going to say, well, I don't actually get that. That's true, but guess what? The person you're dealing with still has to pay it, and they may only get $9,000 of that, and of that they've got to pay broker's fees.
And sometimes there's different amounts. You could work out a cool deal with your aunt or whatever, and they hook you up. The facts are simple. Okay, it's not it's not like they're not working. Like a realtor is going to get out there and they're going to work, okay? They're going to do open houses. They're going to do this dinner thing. They're going to be out here. But when you really start thinking about what they're doing for the buck, okay, start thinking about what they're spending their time for. It's lead generation. That's what it is. It's you do an open house. Why do you do an open house? It's simple. So you can find more buyers. I mean, that's why agents do it. That's why it's like 101 for realtors is an open house. Why? There can only be one buyer for your house. I mean, if someone calls you up on a Thursday and you have an open house on Saturday, it's not like you're going to go, oh, no, you can't see my house, come Saturday. No, you're going to go, okay, come see my house Thursday. Your house is always open. So, when people and agents watching now, the agent out there right now trying to justify what they do for their $18,000, you can't include lead generation into the math of what you do for your money.
Exactly, because that isn't going in their business. That lead open houses, and I've written about this before. My feeling on open houses, and some others may disagree, they are perfect for the broker, for the real estate agent. They don't necessarily pay for the seller. They're not necessarily worth it for the seller. But
there's nothing wrong with the seller doing an open house. Just don't have a realtor there. Don't let them take all your leads. Those are your leads. Matter of fact, do an open house. Take down all those leads. Sell those leads back to your broker for a commission of 20% off each one of those leads that close. Keep track of it with the tax paperwork, and then you can actually pay for that 6% back.
Yeah. So yeah, do people actually earn? And again, you and I have talked about this, and I'll reiterate: most agents, real estate agents, end up paying so much in fees that they really get reamed by the entire system. The brokers are the ones that are making a lot of money, and the big real estate companies like Remax and Eddie. But that doesn't mean that the individual agents are. However, you, Mr. Home Seller, Mrs. Home Seller, still have to pay it. Doesn't matter from your point of view if it gets to stay in their pocket or if it's getting out in all these little places. There is a massive infrastructure and superstructure that's built up on real estate fees, and it's billions and billions and billions of dollars that are getting paid out of homeowners' property, out of their equity, off of their back, that leaves them in desperate situations where they really can go into a new home 11 to 12, 13, 14, 18, $20,000 less than they would have had. And the flat fee system is up and coming because as buyers and sellers become more empowered. Here's the cool thing. Buyers get something out of these changes too. So really quickly, I know we didn't talk about it, but hey, Sean, tell me about your program if I want to buy a house through a flat fee listing like yours.
Well, not all the discounted brokers deal with the buying side. Again, there's lots of laws and different things in different states. So you can go to our website, nationalhomerebate.com, nationalhomerebate.com. You can tap into our resource nationally. But as far as Texas, it's basically when we represent you as the buying agent, okay, we receive that $9,000 on a $300,000 house for procuring you as a buyer. We handle all the contracts, everything. At the end, when we get that $9,000, we only keep $3,000. We give you $6,000 back cash as a cash rebate. So, once again, just like we only charge $500 to list, we only take 33% of the commission. We give back. There's certain types of clients that just don't work with this plan. There's certain types of clients that need us to show them 50 houses and then hold their hand and coddle them through the whole process, and then go home with them and meditate with them and yoga with them. And that's not the type of client we're looking for. What we're looking for is people that are competent, people that can read, people that know how to move a mouse, people that know how to drive. We don't tend to show properties. If we need to, we can get over there. We have keys. We can pop doors open. But we ask our buyers, help us find the house you like. Once you find it, we'll handle everything else. When we get that big pile of money at the back end, that 3%, $9,000, we keep 3. We're happy with that. You get 6. Go buy a motorcycle. Go buy a boat. But just don't give that to somebody to taxi you around and open doors.
Right, and you can't do it in every circumstance. So if you're watching this, it depends on the state you're in and a couple other factors. But when possible, I know Sean personally, and I know for a fact that they do give the rebate back when it's allowable by law and when it's there to give. So it's worth checking into, because if you fall into a certain group and you meet that criteria, and you get to buy the house, then you get $3,000 to $6,000 back, or more or less, depending on how much it is.
If you know how commissions work, if you understand how commissions work, the rebate and discounting flat fee listing is a no-brainer, period. I mean, if you understand how realtors get paid, you understand the amount of money and the workload that goes in it. I'm an insider, so this is inside trading information. It is super easy to sell. It is super easy to buy. You just got to read what you're buying. You got to read what write down everything you're selling. Everything else is pretty much done. So why pay $18,000 when you don't have to, and why let your buyer agent make that much money? Negotiate with them. They're not going to be able to match what we do, but if you have to use your aunt because that's the family and you want to see her on Thanksgiving, at least throw her the opportunity to try to negotiate it and say, hey, listen, I got Creekview down the street, and they're going to do it for, they're going to pay me 66% of the commission. Aunt Sue, what can you do? Well, I can buy you some
Yeah.
some lighting kits.
Yes,
I don't know. Try to negotiate with them. Negotiate it, and then if they don't negotiate to the 66%, call us. I'll tell you which broker does it, and you can work with them. And then just don't invite Aunt Becky to your Thanksgiving.
You and I have talked before, and one of the things that shocked me when I first got into the real estate industry, into flat fees, and started writing about it, was the fact that there's so many agents, real estate agents, licensed agents, that use you on the back end to sell their homes.
Absolutely.
And even though they're the same ones that write articles and say, don't use this, you're not qualified, and yet, when it's their turn to sell their home, they come to places like this.
Absolutely. I mean, once again, they're insiders. They know how easy it is. They might not be licensed in San Antonio, but they're trying to sell a house there, So, yeah, they're going to use us because we're inexpensive. They know all they need to do is just get in the MLS, and they're going to get on all the websites. They know to use professional yard sign, answer questions, and the buyer picks the house. Why? Because the buyer is the one who likes the house. They find it, they look at it, they love it, they buy it. The negotiation, that's really where the forte of a good realtor comes in, is just negotiating better. But, I mean, sorry to divert this whole conversation so far, but to rewind all this goes back to, don't throw money down the drain, whether it's rebuilding something, adding something to your house, painting something, or paying a realtor 6% when you don't have to. Don't be stupid.
Don't do it. Just say no.
Just say no. What would Barbara Bush want you to say? Was it Barbara Bush or was it Reagan?
This went a little over what I intended, and went over a little more territory than we intended. But Sean, how can we reach you if we want to know more about flat fee listings, and then you are nationwide, even though you're headquartered in Texas? How can we reach you?
Just all you have to do is go outside with a flashlight, and you shine it up on a cloud, but you put the emblem of the peace symbol. And I will fly in. No, you can go to our website, flatfeelisting.com. You'll see it on the link below. You can go to our website now, National Home Rebate for the rebate side. Right. And if you're in Texas, of course, we're Creekview Realty. But if you go to Flat Fee Listing and you click on Texas, it drops you right into our website anyways. But you can call us 1-800-477-7771. Have fun. There's nothing wrong with us. We've been doing this since 2002, so it's nothing new for us. It's no new rodeo. I'm glad you're finally finding out about this there, consumers. So congratulations. And whoever forwarded you this link, tell them thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Sean. And you and I will talk again. And to people who are reading my blog, please feel free to send in new ideas and comments. And I'll try and write about it or answer your questions. And I'll try and bring in experts to answer them for you. And have a great day. And thanks for following.
Until next time, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.